Howdy everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome to the Ice House. We try to keep things cool, calm, collected, and mostly a little bit chill. You know what? I think that's turning into a pretty good tagline. So, I know we're at the start of the video and we've got a long way to go, but if you want to drop a comment and let me know what you think about that, that would be great. Because, well, one of the things I wanted to say is just how thankful I am for all you guys who show up to, the Ice House videos, watch it, and give feedback in the comment section. And I also appreciate all you guys who may not have time necessarily to watch all the Ice House videos right away, but, showing up to the Penguin Sheriff announcements, the Penguin Positivity videos. I don't know, I didn't really necessarily expect them to take off as well as they have. I know it's really easy to watch a 2 to 3 minute video over a 10 to 12 minute video, so, I honestly get the functionality of that, right? But I just want to say I really appreciate all your guys' comments and feedbacks and, social interaction on the parasocial network that we have between YouTube and Twitter. It does mean a lot, taking the time to respond, react, and I do try to take time to read them all and respond to them in time or in kind, because as we all know that snark and sarcasm is one of my second languages, so I appreciate all the witty banter that you guys give. So, that being said, I kind of want to get into today's topic of, well, the idea of positivity, right? Which is what we try to do here, and we try to stay positive, and we try to encourage people to, well, pay it forward or whatever other cliches we can try to avoid, because, I don't want to get into that territory. But on the other hand, we have the, well, first we have the positivity, and then we have, well, the idea of optimism, right? So, do you have to be an optimistic person to be a positive person? Well, outright I would say absolutely not, because I think sometimes it's a misnomer, right? So, there's a joke that goes around that I always go back to and think about, where the guy goes to the doctor and says, "Well, doctor, I'm sad." And the doctor says, "Well, you could try these things, but also, there's this really popular clown who's in town, and they'll be performing this weekend, so if you want something a little uplifting and something fun, go see that clown." And the guy says to the doctor, "I am that clown." Womp, womp, womp. And, it kind of goes to show that, how we perform and how we react to life isn't necessarily, the optimistic view that we have. It's a response and reaction to the life that we live and the things we experience. And not to get too heavy, I know the, well, even the sadness of, the whole Robin Williams story, right? Somebody who was amazing, somebody who understood comedy and the human heart, and tried so hard to reach people and touch people's lives in a meaningful way, right? He struggled with obviously a lot of things that, well, that really kind of destroyed him internally over time, right? And I don't want to get into all that, but kind of with the anecdotal joke and the truth of, well, some of these people who help, brighten your day, help, you cope and you enjoy, and really help turn things around, or turn that frown upside down. So that is a colloquialism I will gladly repeat over and over because it's funny and it rhymes. And it might be true. But, there's just the truth that the weight of life is what allows us to process, to internalize, to decide how we're going to live and how we're going to react, and then allows us to respond to that, right? So, it may not surprise you, but sometimes when I'm not on screen, I can be a bit of a realist to a pessimist to a grumpy old soul. I know, shocking, right? Because yeah. But at the same time, I understand that, taking the lessons of life and, the conversations that we're having to try and help, talk through things with everybody and trying to help people process what they're going through, and will hopefully help you guys figure out, what's next or how to get there. I don't expect to have those deep conversations with all of you, but I'm hoping that these conversations are at least a spark or an inspiration in the right direction. I really do. I don't know. I kind of feel like there are times when being optimistic and being ever hopeful, are really important, right? Don't get me wrong, because I like to look for the good things. Like Hank the Cowdog always said, expect, the worst in people, but hope for the best. And I think that's very true, very solid, because we don't want to become jaded, and we don't want to become bitter, like a lot of us have been, because it's easy to do that with, if you look at politics, or the state of entertainment, TVs, movies, video games, the escapism, kind of like what I talked about last week. Do we need a hobby from our hobby, just to figure out how to get away, get some semblance of sort of peace in the head, right? Peace of mind is what they say, maybe. I've heard that one before. But it's difficult to stay, optimistic in a world like this when everything's kind of feeling like it's weighing down. But I think that's also, I think being a little bit more realist and honest, because I don't think there's anything wrong with being optimistic. I think that if the optimism is a way to cope and outweigh the realism or the pessimism, because, the negativity or the weight of the world is really hard to handle, if it becomes a way to push out things that need to be dealt with, that can be definitely a weight of its own. It definitely make the trajectory of even being optimistic in what you put your hope in kind of a little askewed, if you will. And so I'm not saying anybody's wrong for being there, right? I get sometimes it's just you gotta for a minute step away and block things out, because otherwise you don't want to break and snap all the time, right? But there's something about being honest and real, and just being honest with yourself and accepting things kind of the way they are. I mean, even for a minute, to be able to actually process, internalize, and then respond to the world around you. Because I think if we're still in that reactionary stage, right, trying to be either optimistic that everything has to be good or doesn't exist, or pessimistic because everything has to be bad and even good things have to be filtered through bad things because we have to maintain this status quo. And it's kind of like, I remember hearing a story about one of those really old compressors, right? Maybe Ingersoll Rand or something from the 50s or 40s that ran forever, and then in the 90s or 2000s they said we needed to overhaul this engine, we needed to take it apart, we need to clean it, get it back up to factory specs and get it running again. Well, the thing is, when they took those old engines apart, cleaned them up, put them back together again, well, they malfunctioned really fast, because in the idea of cleaning it up and making it better, they didn't account for all the dirt and all the soot and all the built-up grime that allowed the machine to run as smoothly as it did and had become part of the machine. And so, when they took it apart, cleaned up all that stuff up, it was no longer in alignment with even functioning. So, I'm not saying you shouldn't take a bath now and then. I'm not saying you shouldn't look to clean things up and work through things. But the truth is, if you try to work through stuff, react, instead of reacting, respond to them, and try to live out of a different place, sometimes if you're trying to just put the machine back together the exact same way it was, it's not going to run the same way at all, because, well, you took out the gunk, and now you're trying to, learn how to live a different way, right? Or trying to apply some of these either behavior modification or, just positive aspects and ideas and, good practices, and maybe just being, thankful or, being grateful. Those are a lot of great things to do, but they can definitely feel uncomfortable when you're so used to being reactive and responsive, right? Well, reactive, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that being positive and, well, it's an internal struggle. It's a internal reaction. It's taking the world around you and deciding how you want to respond, how you want to live, right? Whether you're optimistic or pessimistic in general, you get to decide how you take that all in and, well, get to show the world who you want to be. So that, I guess, would be my challenge to all of you, is, think about how you process things and input things, and think about how it comes out. Are you reacting to life? Are you responding to life? Are you trying to clean up the old greasy engine and things don't feel like they're running right, so it feels easier to run back to slap on all the grease to try and make it better? Even though if you put the grease back at the same spot, it still won't be as soiled and disgusting and still won't run right? Yeah. Probably not. So, I guess just think about that. And under all the weight and all the possible ways to look at life, we still have a chance to respond in a positive and uplifting way to the people around us. So, if you guys have any thoughts or comments, put them down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye!